Luxembourg, ladies and first-class fellas. Motor according to the map. Remember to tie your shoelaces before the running of the bulls, and find out on this week's episode why they changed the name from Decomposer Dam to Rotterdam.
Next week on Talk Tull to Me.
Welcome back to the podcast, fellow travelers. I am Omen Thomas Sade.
And I am Nick McGill.
Together, we are the agency known as the Feckless Moans.
And this, my little SpongeBob Band-Aids, is Talk Tull to Me. It's blood. There's blood involved.
Okay, I was going the travel route, but that works too.
I'm going to throw it in. Whatever.
Okay, I like it. No, it's fine. A grand tour across the Piazza of Prague Rock, in which Night Train Nick and Oktoberfest Omen will giddily snap a Polaroid of each and every traveling track that UNESCO World Heritage Site rock band Jethro Tull have ever set up along the roadside for easy viewing. We will persuade percussionist Scott Hammond to pop over to Paris, goad David Goodyear into a gaudy gondola, and hitchhike to Heathrow with John O'Hara. And if we can confound the custom agents, haggle ourselves into some haute couture, and get jiggly on gelato, we may just get to treasure the sunburnt memory of that Mediterranean maestro, the fine fluter of the fjords, the convertible composer, the ringleader of the Riviera, the high-priced Christ of the Zeitgeist, Ian, to die will be an awfully big adventure, Anderson.
I like that your Oktoberfest accent, it was clearly Sean Connery visiting.
It was pan-European.
It was clearly, we're going to Oktoberfest.
We're going to Oktoberfest.
Have a giant pretzel. Hello, maiden.
That was Sean Connery as if he was an old man from the South in America.
But they didn't put a Southern accent. Oh yeah, he became a bit of a prospector, didn't he?
I'd like to buy some Shanka. We're off to a great start.
Yeah.
Listeners, Nick and I are a little bit punchy, I think, after having recorded 300 episodes. 300 plus? How many are we on? What number is this?
We are on 3... What is this? We are doing... Wait for it.
I'm waiting.
I said wait for it.
I'm so patient.
This is New Blood, Old Veins, episode number 335.
Whew.
Not including the Fecklesses.
The Fecklesses?
Yeah.
That's a really great... We always called them that?
No.
Did you just invent that?
I did.
That's great.
I'm glad you like it.
Yeah. The best thing you've ever done.
That's it. I'm hanging up my hat. I'm not. It's not going to get any better.
Nick,
Oh, man.
here we do one thing, and mostly that thing. And
Yes.
that thing is talk about the works of Jethro Tull and those which are close enough.
Yes. Yeah, good enough for Jethro Tull, I would say.
Yeah. We take a shotgun approach to the works of Jethro Tull.
Yeah. Wherever Ian Anderson lands, we shoot dozens of Ian Andersons out of a shotgun.
We're terrible shots. And we hate guns.
And he killed that bird, actually.
Oh, yeah. What is it that we have the pleasure of talking Tull about today?
We are on track number 11, the last track off of part 2, Prophecies. And it is the 1960s. We are up to the 1960s with New Blood, Old Veins.
This song was, fun fact, titled by a vampire.
It is not to be confused with the Nickel Creek song, New Blood, that is off of their 2023 release, Celebrants. It is the third to last track, and it's my favorite track off of that album. I recommend you all listen to it now. It's a great bop. It's really good.
Yeah.
It's a Sarah Watkins song, so it's really good.
Yeah. And also not to be confused with Blood on Blood by Bon Jovi.
Oh, I thought that was going to be a Snoop Dogg song. Like Bloods and Crips.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You did think that.
I did.
Nick,
Oh, man.
why don't we have a succulent listen to New Blood, Old Veins?
I'm going to open your ear like a cask and sup from it. Ah, ah, ah. This track is 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Ah, 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 ah.
Nick McGill,
And Thomas Sade
we have just had a transfusion
of pop rocks
of pop
and pixie sticks
of pop rock.
of pop rock. Wow.
I much appreciate that this is the follow-up to After These Wars, because
Oh my gosh, yes.
after These Wars, we needed a little pick-me-up.
We sure did. We sure did.
And so did the population of Great Britain
Sure.
after those wars.
After them, yeah.
After them, there's wars.
Instantly, within 3 seconds, this became my favorite song.
I really enjoy the intro. I think it's my favorite intro. I don't know if it's my favorite song quite yet.
I mean, off the album, not like favorite Tull song.
Oh, not ever.
Yeah, no.
Not going up against Mahler and Stravinsky.
I am a big Tchaikovsky fan, actually.
Oh.
I'm not being facetious. I love The Nutcracker. I love Swan Lake.
New World Symphony.
Oh, not Tchaikovsky, but
Oh, who's the New World Symphony?
that is Dvorak.
Dvorak. I quite like Dvorak.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So in the first couple of seconds, as you pointed out, we have probably the most joyous bass work off of this decade of Tull.
Yeah. He earned his paycheck there, for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's great.
That's accompanied by a little bit of John O'Hara on the keys.
Yes.
Doing some fun little
twiddles and pianoes.
kind of a tremolo almost. You know, when you kind of put your hand like this and you go. Ba, 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 ba.
Yeah.
Shortly thereafter, we do very much have Scott Hammond coming in on the drums.
Oh my gosh.
New blood, old veins, ringing in the new dawn.
I do think that maybe this song gets a little too thick.
Disagree.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Tell me
Continue.
more.
Sorry, continue.
No. I want to hear you. I want to hear more about your disagreements. You don't feel that there's so many notes at the same time happening, so many sounds at the same time that you're like, wow, it's stuck in my mouth. I'm choking to death.
It's a very rapid song, for sure.
It's quite rapid, yeah.
And just before I forget, in that intro, we do have sticks. We do have every now and then we get a little stick before the drum comes in.
Lest we forget.
I think this is true to form how Tull pulls off Busy. You know, I don't think it seems like a lot, particularly after these wars, but it's just that torrential feel where if you grab onto a branch long enough, you can kind of right yourself in this torrential flood, and you can pick out a little piece here and a little piece there, and it changes enough that it's not just we're 30 seconds in and then we're 2 minutes and 30 seconds in.
That's true. And like a lot of Tull songs, there is kind of a listener learning curve.
Absolutely, yes.
You have to get the first couple of listens out of the way before you can acclimatize.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever... Let me look something up really quick.
Did I ever hit puberty?
Okay. So, have you ever heard in music about equal temperament versus mean tone temperament?
That is beyond my ken of musical understanding.
It is beyond mine as well. And yet...
But I've never even heard of it, rather.
But so what it basically means is that, like, okay, you have A, B, C, D, E, F, G for the notes in Western music.
Right, you have, yeah. Mm-hmm.
The space between those notes is a little bit different depending on if you're doing equal temperament or mean tone temperament.
Oh, so the flats and the sharps
are flatter or sharper.
Interesting. Okay.
So one of them says, well, if it's a whole step, the whole step should be exactly the same between an A and a B, and between a B and a C.
Yeah.
Music people, please don't send me hate mail. I'm doing my best. Equal temperament, or one of them says, well, actually, that's not really the case because the way the vibrations line up, they slightly diminish as you go up. And so the distance between this note and this note actually can't be the same as the distance between this note and this note. And so it's different tuning systems. Now we mostly use, but in the time of kind of when Bach was writing, it was transitioning from the other one. I heard a quartet play in the older temperament when I was in London. And for the first 30 seconds, I was like, what is happening to my brain?
Wow.
I don't understand this. This isn't musical. Everything sounds out of tune.
Were you aware that they were doing that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they said, we're going to do this thing now. Give us a second to tune.
Mm-hmm.
And then it became a very beautiful piece of music.
Huh.
And then they said, all right, now we're going back to the modern temperament. And they switched back and they started playing, and it sounded so gray.
Wow.
And like colorless.
Yeah.
Why did I bring this up?
That's a great question.
I remember.
Let me tell you.
I remember. It was that I feel in some ways like listening to Jethro Tull is a little bit like listening to some different musical scale. You have to adjust your ear to it over time.
Right. Correct. Yeah. So upon first, second, maybe third listen, it's that 30 seconds of like, what am I hearing? What's going on here? Where are we going with this? And then finally something clicks in the ear and in the mind, where it's when Dorothy opens the door and all of a sudden there's color everywhere.
Yes, exactly. At about 1 minute and 40 seconds, we get the guitar coming in kind of fuller force.
Time to present, pressure faces. Don't be fearful, we'll join the clan.
Just be mindful of who's the master. Don't pinch the sunbed, understand.
We're going mental, continental. Socks and sandals, never smart.
Got a phrase book, border times, yeah. Lessons in Spanish guitar.
It amps up a little bit, perhaps literally.
Oh, it's possible. Yeah.
Around, Bert was stepping on my keyboard at this point, so I'm not sure I clocked exactly where it was, but I think it's around time to visit fresher places, somewhere in that verse.
Okay.
We do have Ryan O'Donnell.
Yes. Yeah. So we
Comes
have
in at a couple points.
So there's a voice double up
New blood, old brains.
really quickly, like in the verses, just like a sentence or so, that I can't quite tell if it's Ryan or if it's Ian. My initial impression was it's got to be Ian because it doesn't stand out enough. But because Ryan has his own verse in this, I'm second guessing myself.
Yeah.
Because we've heard in the past that Ryan has done some double up in a song that he also takes part in on his own.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, he's real fun in this. He's real good, as usual.
And the effect is kind of like you never know if you're coming or going. You're kind of like, is that me leaving for vacation as I'm coming back from vacation?
Yeah. Is it a time loop?
Is it a time loop? Don't eat the shrimp buffet. It's too late.
I just listened to our second part, Feckless, of Ludo's Broken Bride.
Oh,
makes me think of that. If you are not a Patreon patron, get in on that, because for Feckless episodes we covered the rock opera Broken Bride by Ludo.
And not gonna lie, those are pretty good episodes.
They are because it's a banging album, and Ludo is crazy talented.
Treat yourself.
Treat
to
yourself.
The Fecklesses.
The Fecklesses.
Oh, okay. Here's something interesting.
Okay.
I don't know where it is.
I don't know when.
And I don't know what. But there is a part of the melody in this song that is very parallel, very similar to the tune of part of AWOL off of .com.
Oh.
Be mindful, who's the master? Pinch the sunbed, understand. Mental, continental, socks and sandals, tapis bar.
We're going mental, continental. Socks and sandals, never smart.
Gristleburger frazzle fries, end this romantic interlude.
Gristleburger frazzle fries and this romantic interlude.
Wow. That's real good.
It's almost, I mean, I think they're different keys, but it's almost the exact same phrase musically.
That's as good as my remembering the one off of Living in the Past.
That was very good.
Yeah, that was as good as that Living in the Past reference there. Yeah.
Now, Nick,
Yes.
what do you reckon is the time signature of this piece?
6/4.
Oh, that was a lot less fun than I thought it was going to
Oh.
be. I thought you were going to suffer.
No, I got 6/4 out of it.
Yeah, I was going to say 3/4, but yeah, I think you could count it either way. I think it'd be a slow 3 to count,
Yeah.
but or a bit of a fast 6.
Yes, yeah, it was fairly rapid, but like you normally do when I say the lower number, you're like, well, yeah, but I kept counting through the phrase. You know, where you find that like kind of more logical ending. That's kind of where I was going with it.
It is interesting. It's quite swung. It's like it is in that trip, whether you call it 6/8/3/4, whatever you want to call it. It's in that triple time.
Oh, it has to be 6/8, not 6/4.
I don't know if there are any actual rules, but
Okay, there are no rules in music.
actually there are no rules in music. Musicologists, throw away your books. Everything you need to know about music, you can learn here on the Talk to Me podcast.
Degrees are useless. Oh God, I'm a drama major.
But he's not singing it like it's in 3. He's singing the beat, like where the phrases start it's fun. It has
It's
this
so
kind
fluid.
of like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ba, 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 ba.
What else to say musically about this song, Nick?
Oh gosh, we get some really cool flute
Yes.
at about 50 seconds. It comes in. Comes in good and strong. There is a part where this is pre-Ryan coming in, rocking our faces off, where the guitar and the organ kind of play together and really, really just take it away for a little bit.
Time to prison, pressure faces, don't be fearful, we'll join the clan.
Totally forgot about the organ.
Yeah. So we've got piano through most of it, but then John comes in like on super organ setting. He picks up the organ and plays it back to back with Florian while he's doing guitar, like that classic, like, yeah, this isn't sexual at all. Let's rub backs while we jam.
He puts an organ into an enclosed paddock and only feeds it other organs until it becomes an uber organ.
That's it. And then it breaks out of the fence and wreaks havoc on the countryside.
Yeah. Hubris is the real villain here.
That's right. We learned it from Odysseus. We learned it from
Never learned.
From John Hammond. He's the guy from Jurassic Park.
Oh.
Yeah.
Music will find a way.
Music. You see, music finds a way.
I'm simply saying that life finds a way.
Chapter 11, New Blood, Old Veins. Nick. You mentioned that that the date on this song, or timestamp, if you will, is 1960.
A 60s, much like the last song, which was 50s. It covers the 50s. This is the 60s.
I would like to begin this analysis of the poetry of this song by reading to you from an article published in Time magazine on June 13th, 1960.
I'm so excited.
From speedy new quadrupod jets to slower prop planes, from fast liners to converted wartime victory ships, 500,000 Americans will land in Europe this summer in the greatest tourist invasion in history. With curiosity and $500 million in cash, they will wander from the all-night sun Lapland, north of the Arctic Circle, to the stone dials of the Aegean. Some will tramp through cathedrals, others will look for the high life, and many will exhaust themselves trying to combine some of both. but Americans in Europe in 1960 are in for some surprises. The article goes on to say that tourism in Europe in general is blowing up, and people, if you're trying to get do something, you need to book your tickets immediately. And that this was kind of ushering in this new era of this era of new tourism in Europe, Europe that was now finally to a certain extent rebuilt from the war.
Right, because this is in 1960. This is 15 years after the end of the war.
That's correct.
So there's been some time to lick one's wounds
and rebuild one's hotels.
Yeah.
It says the natives are on the move too. In many places, the demand for hotel rooms will outrun facilities. 1960 is the year of the big squeeze, and traveling will often prove hard work. I was happy that I found that. I thought it was a fun introduction to this idea of, after kind of many years of being locked down because of the war, and then after a number of years of being locked down because there was no money to be had,
right,
the economy and people's spending abilities started to revive.
Yeah. I mean, what's the opposite of a recession? A boom, I guess. There's usually a boom. The oh my God, we're alive boom, I think, is kind of a thing. Yeah.
We kind of saw that after COVID.
Yes, true. Very true.
There is still a bit of a travel boom now because people are like, we could die. And we didn't. Let's not push it anymore. I did my first trip to Europe after COVID. And you didn't die.
And I didn't die. Did I?
Did you? Maybe a little bit.
When I saw Ian, when our eyes locked.
And he sucked the new blood into your old veins, into his old veins.
He took my soul.
New blood, old veins ringing in the new dawn. Like it, lump it, old chips with curry on. Let's get to it. Tempus fugit. Time to cheat the coroner. Affordable package tours to the land of Johnny Foreigner.
New blood, old veins, ringing in the new dawn. Like it, lump it, old chips with curry on. Let's get to it, Tempus fugit, kind of cheap the coroner. Affordable package tours to the land of Johnny Foreigner.
Some very fun rhymes in here, some very fun kind of percussive, jazzy throwaway.
Yeah, it's not jazzy, but it feels a little jazzy, this song.
Let's talk old chips with curry on. That's a bit of a fun culinary touch point for what's happening in this song. What are chips?
Oh, chips are French fries.
What we would call French fries, yeah.
Yeah.
And putting curry on it would be a fairly newfangled thing in the 1960s as people from India started moving more and more to the mother country. And in fact, there was a big push, propaganda, advertising, call you what you will, in the colonies, in some of the old British colonies, to say, hey, come move to Britain.
Oh.
Support the motherland. And it was a scheme to try to get the economy up and running again.
Yeah.
And it was successful.
Yeah, and I think we do have to acknowledge that probably a decent amount of the cuisine from these colonized places did come back with the soldiers and the people who spent their time there and came back.
Which, thank God. And also with the waves of immigrants that then came from those countries.
Exactly, yeah.
So in one kind of quick culinary line, Ian is saying, this is the old Britain, but now it's being spiced up with foreign influence.
It's the start of that era of the global melting pot.
Yeah. And he says, like it, lump it. Whether you like it or not, here's what's happening. Deal.
Yeah.
Let's get to it, Tempus fugit. Wonderful rhyme.
Ian pronounces Latin in the Vulgate, and I'm very happy.
Oh, I'm sorry. Tempus wugit.
No, but most people say tempus fugit. But with my pronunciation, it would be fugit. So, yeah.
And what does tempus fugit mean?
Time flies, basically.
Time flies.
Yeah.
Time to cheat the coroner. Ooh.
By not dying, right? Basically.
Yeah. Or by living while you're still alive. I mean, I really do think that there was this, if we look at the song previous, we were talking about, we remember we had that, we were talking about that phrase, not in the song actually. Patch,
Oh, yeah. Mend and patch.
mend and patch, mend and make do.
Bodging.
Bodging, right? There's this whole idea of like, well, you know, you just have to sort of get on with it, and you know, yes, we're all suffering, but you know, we just have to keep a stiff upper lip. And now it's saying, hey, well, actually, let's have a bit of a party.
Yeah, right. Right. We don't have to bodge so much anymore.
We could buy new on our shiny new credit card.
Also, that's a great point, is the technology was starting to boom, you know? New things were available and being offered, and things that were really expensive before, their prices are dropping because they're becoming more common, because they're becoming more, it's becoming more efficient to make those items.
And time. You know, the article that I cited mentioned the new jet plane.
Yeah, right?
The difference in travel between, you know, let's say Rome and London on a prop plane versus a jet
Oh,
plane.
Jesus,
A
yeah.
lot was big. It was a big difference.
It seems so crazy to me to think that that was like, that a prop plane was still around back then. It feels like it ought to have been like the 20s. It stopped in the 20s, the prop plane. But it didn't, no.
No. It continued on. New blood, old veins, kids can't wait to be gone. Next door jealous neighbors peeping through the curtains drawn.
New blood, old veins, kids can't wait to be gone. Next door, jealous neighbors peeping through the curtains drawn.
Conjures to mind the first couple of scenes in Home Alone. You know, this like, all right, kids, we're all going to go on this big family vacation, whether we like it or not.
Mm-hmm. Because that's what we're supposed to do.
Daddy got a raise at the bank, and so we are going to Malaga.
Yeah.
We'll like it. It's also a status symbol. If you can afford to take a family vacation.
Of course, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. We knew who the rich kids were in Wheatsport when they went on vacation.
Because they left town.
Because they left town, yeah.
Yeah.
What was vacation for me? Well, we went to the zoo once. We went to the state fair. That was exciting. We went to the Sterling Renaissance Festival.
Oh, yeah. That worked out.
Sure did.
You went to the zoo, but you had to clean out the stalls after you saw the animals.
Oh yeah, we didn't pay. We worked for it. Yeah.
Yeah. We didn't really go on family vacations. I do remember once my dad bundled me and Dr. Knox, my stepmother, into the cab back camper, like the truck camper.
Yeah.
To go on a trip to go and see a particular variety of fish crow in the Carolinas. And and there was literally a printed itinerary in military time. And I remember being on the road and at one point saying, oh, look, there's a roadside stand selling fudge. We could stop there and get some of this local fudge. And my dad said, it is not on the itinerary.
Yeah. Why bother? Well, I mean, he wasn't doing vacation to relax. He was doing a work vacation.
It was a
workation.
Yeah, a wormcation.
Yeah.
Half-timbered Morris traveler popped the luggage in the back.
Half-timbered Morris traveler, pop the luggage in the back.
Nick, have you had the pleasure of looking up what a Morris traveler is?
No, I didn't even think to. What? Tell me what a Morris traveler is.
I'm going to show you this because the image is really cool.
Oh, so it's a Woody. It's a station wagon.
It's a station wagon. Apparently, it was Britain's most sellingest car.
Wow. Oh, the Morris Minor. Yeah, that sounds very familiar. I've definitely heard of the Morris Minor before.
0 to 50 in 6 to 5 business days.
3 hours.
Yeah. 4-cylinder.
They only used 2 at a time, though.
Right. Alternated. Clip clop. Started kind of in the 1950s. Got an upgrade in the early 60s. It was the first British car to exceed 1 million sales.
Wow.
And it was said, and in 1965, Motor Magazine said, a good dual-purpose vehicle for the family man with a small business or the businessman with a small family.
That's cute.
It's very, very cute, very punchy.
That's cute. I mean, it looks really cool. It legit looks like they cut 2 cars in half and put them together.
It does look like that. It looks like a Chrysler in the front and a pickup truck in the back, but there's seats in the back.
Visit us in the front, party in the back. It's a mullet of cars.
Yeah. So it's interesting to parallel what Ian is talking about here with what was happening in America at this time. Because in America, we were having the whole, go see America movement. The go to the national parks, buy a camper, get an Airstream, take your kids on trips. My mom did all that. They drove up from Maryland to Alaska one summer.
Wow.
Apparently it was miserable.
It sounds like it would be.
Yeah. I would
With your entire family? Ugh.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Leave me on the roadside.
I'll walk there.
But we were investing heavily in highways. I think that there was a lot of investment in infrastructure on both sides of the.
Yeah, Eisenhower was the thruway, right? Didn't he get the thruway rolling?
Actually, I think he was a president. I don't think he was a.
No, I've driven over Eisenhower.
Oh, you're right.
Oh, he was a bridge. He's a bridge in New York, yeah.
Pop the luggage in the back on the ferry, getting merry, bending over Builder's Crack.
Pop the luggage in the back on the ferry, getting merry, bending over Builder's Crack.
Again, I really do appreciate the lyricism of this.
Yeah.
Do you remember when we were talking about the big industrialist who was like, yeah, I'm going to continue a train line that goes from London to New York City?
Yeah, it was the episode that dropped today. It was Isambard Kingdom Brunel.
Right, Brunel.
Yeah.
So this is really an extension of what he was doing. This, there was a ferry that would go from Dover to Calais. Still is. And you could get everything you needed into your car and literally drive into France.
Right, yeah. Yeah, drive up on the boat takes you over, and then drive on off.
Now, and there's actually, I think you can do that as well with the Tunnel. I think the Tunnel train has a part of the train you can park cars in.
Really?
Maybe I'm not certain about that, but
I think you're definitely not certain about that.
But this idea that you could take your car to Europe, I mean, that must have been pretty revolutionary.
Oh, I imagine so, yeah.
I also think that what we're seeing here is an opening up of travel to some of the more middle classes.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the word tourism comes from this French phrase, la grande tour. And that was a tradition in the 1800s, maybe 1700s, where young noblemen from the UK and from Europe would be sent on a grand tour of Europe to see all these different places. Mm-hmm. It was part of their education. It's talked about a lot in The Count of Monte Cristo that these young men are kind of partying around Europe.
It's their Rumspringa.
It's their Rumspringa, but they are in theory making connections, making business connections, learning about stuff and all this.
Yeah. What did you say? 1800s?
17 and 1800s.
17. Okay.
And so that's where we get the idea of tourist, someone who is doing le grand tour,
doing a tour,
a touriste.
Yeah. Huh.
But the concept of that has been reduced to just, I'm going to spend a week at the resort. I'm a tourist.
Right. Yeah. I'm traveling to a different country.
Exactly. Out there, far beyond Victorian piers and palisades, have to toss the candy floss, no more ginger beers or lemonades.
Out there, far beyond Victorian piers and palisades, have to toss the candy floss, no more ginger beers or lemonades.
These are all references to things that you might encounter in Britain if you were going on holiday.
On a boardwalk at Blackpool.
At Blackpool, at Brighton Beach.
Mm-hmm.
Roll on, roll off, duty-free Dover Calais. Wet the lip, a hefty sip, cheap brandy, jolly Beaujolais.
Roll on, roll off, duty-free Dover Calais. Wet the lip, a hefty sip, cheap brandy, jolly Beaujolais.
Rolling on, rolling off, I think refers to the car getting on and off the ferry.
The ferry, yeah, definitely.
Suddenly, duty-free would have been a fairly new concept for a lot of people at this time.
I imagine so, yeah.
And different countries had such different laws on tax. And still do. I mean, I'm sure I've told you a number of times that when I landed in Norway, Bendik, as we were passing through the duty-free shop, suddenly said, "How many liters of alcohol do you have on you in which forms?" And I was like, one bottle of brandy and 2 bottles of wine. He was like, "Very good. You may purchase 6 more bottles of wine, 2 more brandies, And he calculated for everyone. He knew exactly what the limits were because alcohol is so heavily taxed in Norway.
Oh, wow.
He made sure that each of us had the maximum amount that you could bring into the country.
Yeah. And then he bought it all from you? Or you guys just drank it all?
No, we drank. It was Christmas.
Silly me.
There were no survivors. Yeah. Beaujolais is a French wine which is famously drunk young.
Oh, interesting.
It's one of the rare wines that you're supposed to drink when it's kind of fresh.
It's grape juice then, right?
It's grape juice.
Yeah.
Time to visit fresher places. Don't be fearful. We'll join the clan. Just be mindful of who's the master. Don't pinch the sunbed. Understand?
Find a prison, fresher places. Don't be fearful, we'll join the clan.
Just be mindful of who's the master. Don't pinch the sunbed. Understand?
What do you reckon this is referring to?
This is a tough one. I mean, obviously, time to visit fresher places. Don't be fearful is pushing that idea of like going out and experiencing something new. I think join the clan is just that. Like, it's a clan of people moving out to do it. Do what everybody else is doing.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. It's not clan with a K, so it's not what we're all thinking.
That's in America.
Yeah. Just be mindful who's the master. So that's, you're just a visitor though. You know, you're not going, it's not your country. You don't have any right to say anything, you know, just go experience it and come back. Don't be a gross tourist like tourists are.
And yet I think this is stated in a bit of a tongue-in-cheek way because cash is king. And I remember when I was in college, I visited the Costa Blanca in the south of Spain. And it was kind of what you might call Gringolandia, where like you arrived there and it was very difficult to find a menu in Spanish. All the menus were either in English or German.
Oh, wow.
Because that's who, like, Brits and Germans had bought up like all the property in the town, and it was this enclave of tourists.
Yeah. I cannot imagine the day that the restaurant had to decide to put a translated menu out. Just a collective shaking of the head, single tear.
But at the same time, for some of these countries where it was cheap to vacation, that became a big source of income,
Yeah.
You know, not just for the area, but also for the gross domestic product, the disgusting national product.
Awful. It is such a toss-up. It is kind of a Sophie's choice, you know?
I mean, we saw that in Skye.
Yes, that's true. We did. Yeah.
You kind of got the sense that the island was overrun by us.
Yeah, I feel like we saw, I mean, particularly at something like the ferry pools. Oh my God, it was so overrun. Holy cow.
Or do you remember when you were trying very carefully to preserve our lives while driving on those tiny little roads?
Oh, yes.
There was a workman's van who was gently trying to run us off the road and was like, you have to move over for the locals. Like, please, we have stuff to do.
Yeah. And then he sped off at a very unsafe speed on a wet road, windy ass road.
Yeah. I mean, it would have been unsafe for us to drive that speed.
Exactly, yeah.
But he was drunk.
But he was just, so everything was okay.
Understand, we're going mental, continental, socks and sandals, tapas bar. Got a phrase book, bought a timeshare, lessons in Spanish guitar.
Understand?
We're going mental, continental, socks and sandals, tapas bar.
Got a phrase book, bought a timeshare, lessons in Spanish guitar.
All vacation-y things.
Kind of a little bit of a back reference to Calafell and Return to Calafell,
Oh,
if you will.
yeah, maybe. Maybe those were Martin songs though, so I doubt it's one of those.
That's true. I'm making the reference.
You're connecting them.
I take responsibility.
You're blowing it wide open.
Yes.
Yeah.
Remember what we learned about the inspiration for those songs? That was Martin's family vacation on the coast of Spain.
And he would go running on the beach. And I think that's where he got inspired.
Right. Goodbye, Blackpool. Going where sun is guaranteed. Hilarious.
Yeah.
Drink it down, throw it up. Watney's Red, just what I need.
Goodbye, black hole, going with sand is guaranteed. Drink it down, throw it up. What needs red, just what I need.
Is that a wine? Or is that a medicine?
Well, Watney's Red is short for Watney's Red Barrel, which was a very popular beer in the UK in the 60s and 70s.
Gotcha.
And it could travel long distances because it was made stable by filtering and pasteurizing, and as first, it was the first keg beer.
Wow. That's kind of cool.
So it's what if you were, for instance, a Spanish bar, and you knew you were going to have loads of English tourists, you might buy a large supply of Watney's Red Barrel.
Yeah.
Because you knew it was going to be drunk.
Right. Yeah. I'm not over here to drink wine or Spanish beer. What do you got that's from the UK?
Exactly. It's like getting a Bud Light in Mexico.
Yeah, exactly. That's precisely what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Knotted hanky worn too late. Melanoma's such a pain.
Knotted hanky worn too late. Melanoma's such a pain.
Well, we know what melanoma is. Do you have the image for the knotted hanky?
Well, I imagine you would wear it to protect yourself from the sun.
Exactly. And if you tie a knot in the four corners of a handkerchief, you can kind of make it into a hat.
Yeah. Yeah, or the over the head and then tie beneath the
Oh, sure. Yeah.
tie beneath the chin.
Not too far from hot Malaga to Luton Airport in the rain.
Not too far from hot Malaga to Luton Airport in the rain.
Where's Malaga?
Malaga is the south coast of Spain.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
It is whence that famous Spanish tune Malagueña takes its name.
Ah, that one.
It's like the first piece that you learn to play if you're learning Spanish guitar.
Oh. Yeah, that sounds familiar. Yes, so we have references to both Spain and France, and they are a day trip away. You know, It's very easy to get there from the UK.
It might be pronounced Luton, not Luton.
No, we got yelled at.
But
we got yelled at way early on. We pronounced it Luton. Or wait, no, or was it the other way around?
See, this is the...
Oh, damn it. But Ian pronounces it Luton in this.
Oh, well, let's go with Luton then.
Yeah. You say Luton, I'll say Luton, and then we'll be okay.
We'll call the whole thing off.
Yeah.
Again, the overall theme of this song for me is suddenly Europe is accessible, and suddenly we have the cash to spend.
Right. Which is the next step in the human evolution that we're seeing in this grand scheme scope of this album. We're still traveling. We're still moving.
Yes, we're still erraticus.
Yeah.
And it is the evolution of the Brit.
Yeah.
Having sought refuge, having made Britain a fortress, and been successfully unconquered for thousands of years, suddenly we'd like to go lie in the sun because we're tired of the damn rain.
Yeah. The Brits were never Homo sapiens. They were Homo erectus. And that's Ian's thesis.
Homo Britannicus.
Oh, that's really good. That's really good.
Not too far from hot Malaga to Luton Airport in the rain.
You know what? We talked about this a little bit last week, by which I mean yesterday. But something about this album that kind of chafes me a little bit is that I haven't found the metaphor. Like,
It's very straightforward.
It's extremely straightforward.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess so, yeah. But I think we have to look at this one on the grander scale of the story that he's telling. I don't think we're meant to really see it by its composite parts. I think we need to see it all together.
And that's what I'm struggling with.
You're struggling seeing it all together?
Yeah, I'm like, here's a song about a thing that the song is about. Here's a song about this thing that this song is about.
Well, it's like we said, it's the evolution of Homo Britannicus. It's the traveling of man, that he is always wandering for one reason or another.
I feel like that's a thesis more than a metaphor.
Oh. So you're really insistent on it having a metaphor.
All I'm asking is for one freaking metaphor in this album.
Well, we've got 4 more songs.
Is the wandering man a metaphor for man's wandering desire?
No,
he can
I
never
don't
be
think
sat.
so.
No.
No,
Okay.
I don't think so.
Is it a metaphor for my lazy eye?
That's wandering. Is it Ian's life as a musician?
Ooh, his own evolution.
Yeah, exactly.
His evolution in both directions, backwards and forwards.
He started out as a young whippersnapper on the Doggerland and went from there. And he's reached a point, certainly by this album, he's reached a point where he's ready to settle down and go on vacation. But that can't be true unless he just ignored that impulse.
Well, he has a number of songs, especially in his solo work, about being on vacation, which he seems to
that's true. Yeah.
He seems to tolerate.
Yeah, you're right.
Caliandra Shade.
Yeah. Most of Secret Language of Birds
Secret Language, yeah.
is vacation-y.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the yacht rock album of Ian Anderson.
The closest you can get.
Yeah.
It's very, very palatable, very listenable.
Nick.
Omen.
Next week,
we
are on to part 3, chapter 12 of Homo Eroticus. Revelations is the title of the part. What is the title of the song about which we will talk?
We're actually doing chapters 12 and 13 because 12 is so short.
Oh, my God.
I know. So chapter 12 is In for a Pound, and chapter 13 is The Browning of the Green. And then that puts us literally halfway through part 3 already, with only 2 more tracks after that. So 3 more episodes for this album. Can you literally, it's a genuine question, can you believe that we are practically done with this album?
My belief system is so shattered by this project.
Yeah.
I don't know what to believe anymore.
Time is broken.
I will say that my favorite lyric already from The Browning of the Green is imbecile fecundity.
Second reference of fecundity in this album.
Well, it's a very fecund album. Britain's a very fecund place.
Sure is.
Fetid or fecund?
I mean, it could be both.
Until next week, you can visit my fresher places. I'm Omen Thomas Sade.
I have an affordable package, and I provide tours. I'm Nick McGill.
We're getting on the ferry. It's the Feckless Mobes. And you've just bought a timeshare at Talk Tull to Me.